And welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Raksha Gopal and welcome. Today I'm going to be talking about an old soul in a 21st century. Now, as someone who's an old soul myself, I know that growing up I never truly understood why I didn't fit in, or why I thought the way I did or I felt the way I did. Now, as I grew up, I started to understand my soul's nature more, and as a result of that, that got me to really just be okay with being different, or being considered as weird. So in this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about the signs that you might be an old soul. Is a soul that has had many experiences, not only on Earth but in various other dimensions, galaxies, and you bring forth with you a lot of wisdom. That's one thing about an old soul. They carry forth with them a lot of wisdom. You might feel like you were just an outcast when it came to socializing with people your age. You felt like you just didn't think the way they did, or you saw the world differently. You had a lot of wisdom, or you knew not to engage in certain activities, whatever it may be. You just seem like you are a person who is older than your earthly years. So an old soul has a lot of wisdom to them, and sometimes it can even reflect in the way they look, or in the way in which they are, the way in which they think, and the way in which they live their life. Another thing about an old soul is that with that wisdom, there is a strong intuition, a strong knowing that old souls can tap into. So it is with this intuition and wisdom that they can navigate life. They have a sort of earthly wisdom to them that can really help them save a lot of time. Now, a lot of people have to go through this whole trial and error process when navigating through certain situations. But as an old soul, that situation is not something that you want to get into, because maybe it just doesn't sit right with your intuition, or you know that you have done that before, and you might have done it in past lifetimes and it didn't work out in a way in which you wanted it to, or you've done that in past lifetimes, and you know better to not even attempt that, to not even get yourself into that. So an old soul knows better. Another thing about an old soul is that they are truth seekers and truth seers. It is an old soul that has the ability to find out the truth about who they are, find out their truth about who they are, and the reality and nature of all that they're experiencing. You might find that as an old soul, you ask the question of, why am I on Earth? What's my destiny? What's my life path? Why is humanity the way it is? You tend to really dive deep and question everything, finding out the truth of the nature of things. Also, a truth seer, you have the ability to really go beyond the illusions of your mind, break free from a lot of the boxes that society may have placed us in. You have the ability to kind of just break free and to look outside of the box and to live in a more authentic way. See yourself in a more true and authentic way. Another thing about old souls is that they are lifelong learners. I think that's the term I'm going to use, lifelong learners, because they truly seek depth. They seek depth in everything, finding deep meaning in everything. And so I believe it's the depth within them that really seeks the depths within all things. So as an old soul, you love to learn, you love to explore, you love to experience, you love to go deep. And I find that as an old soul, you come in thinking that, okay, you know what, I know I've done this. I've experienced this. There's nothing for me to do. But you know that there's an infinite amount of experiences to be had in the cosmos, and that no matter how much you know, you're just scratching the surface, and then there's so much more to be learned. As souls, I would believe it's a goal for us to really, experience, to evolve, and so it's this that propels one to really seek deeper, to learn more, to explore, and to keep evolving. Another thing about old souls is that they are not materialistic, or rather they do not prioritize the world outside of them over the world within them. They are ones to, seek out themselves in the world outside of them, and by doing so, they might find that they're so unsuccessful that it might turn their attention inward. Now, as an old soul myself, I know that growing up, I really tried to find fulfillment in the world outside of me. And, this just was not a permanent state of fulfillment, and I really seeked something more permanent, which then had me turn my attention towards myself. Now, an old soul may do this seeking out inner peace, and from a perspective of really, seeking out inner peace and inner stillness, and being rooted in a more permanent state of fulfillment, joy, and peace. And so, it's not like they completely negate the world outside of them, but they do not prioritize it over the inner world, and they understand that, they live in more fulfillment when they are living from within. Another thing about an old soul is that they are ones to really enjoy solitude. They love solitude. To an old soul, solitude is more than okay, because it gives them time to contemplate, to get to know themselves more. When they start to tune out the world outside, they start to tune to the inner voice. They start to tune into the intuition. Therefore, really, directing the energy in a more meaningful way, and tapping into the universe and the connection with all. So, it is when you are alone, I believe that, some of your best ideas can come, some of your most creative sparks can be ignited. So, solitude is no problem for an old soul. Another thing about an old soul is that they are empaths. The way in which I would describe an empath is when someone has the ability to tap into the energetic field of a place, a person, an environment, an object, tapping into the energetic field, and most likely tuning yourself to the most negative feelings or the most negative emotions. Now, as an empath myself, growing up, I struggled a lot because the sensitivity was something I could not understand. And especially, navigating situations where I had to go into hospitals or doctor's visits was something that for me was just a very heavy, dense experience. So when an old soul learns to rather to absorb but to observe and to become more empowered, then they realize that being an empath is quite a gift. Another thing about an old soul is that they have the ability to bring in talents or skills from past lifetimes. Now, an old soul has the ability to either bring in a skill to further master it, or to tap into something that they have already mastered in previous lifetimes. For example, I have had this experience where I felt like, I've done this before, I would try to learn something like a new skill and it felt very natural, or I'd get into a career path and it felt like I've already done this. I know I've done this before. And so, you could also have experiences like that. So you have the ability to really live in a more authentic and true way, breaking out of the standards or, status quos. You are someone who's more or less like a maverick, and that's really needed on earth right now. You set an example for so many other people to also, live authentically, to live truly. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in a video soon. Bye for now.